Video is about the analysis of innovation. So when we think about the analysis of innovation, what exactly do we mean by that? Part of the analysis of the innovation is looking at the potential to generate profit for the firm. So obviously, we have our steps to process when we think of innovation as an idea of a process to manage ideas. Once we have those ideas, once we have looked at each of those ideas, we have selected, we start to work on our ideas. Part of that selection of the idea is to look at what are the potential or what is a potential to generate profit. So looking at the actual product itself, looking at the service itself, looking at, do we have the ability to create that product or that service? Do we have those capabilities in-house, or do we need to invest in capabilities for those? And then the other portion of analysis that comes in is determining if we should be a leader or a follower. And part of that understanding of whether we should be a leader or a follower is to determine how hard is it to appropriate the value that comes from that initiation. So when we look at appropriating the value from innovation, where can we look? So what is it that we're looking at? So we're looking at patents, for example. So 17 years for a patent for a product, 14 years for a patent for design. Copyright, so exclusive publication sales rights there, production rights that are exclusive to the company. Can we trademark that particular bit of innovation? Are there certain words, symbols, or other distinguishing marks that we can trademark? What are our trade secrets? So how are we maintaining those secrets for our new processes, our recipes, our customer list, for example? So what is it that we are trying to do is how are we enforcing that value? How are we trying to reap the value there? What is it that we need to do to protect, which is where the patents, the copyrights, the trademarks, and our trade secrets are? That's what we need to do, is to protect that value. And so part of the protection comes from complexity of innovation. How easy is it for our competitors to copy our innovation? What about lead time? Does our new innovative product or service allow us to move down that production learning curve ahead of our competition? So what does that innovation do for us to allow for us to create that second and that third and that fourth iteration of the product? And then as well, the complementary resources. So what are those complementary resources and capabilities that are required to finance, to produce, to market that particular product, to distribute that product, to service that new product? What do these look like? This is our value chain. So when we look at our new product, how does it fit into our value chain? And so when we ask ourselves, is it better to be a leader or a follower? Then we ask ourselves about the particular innovation, and if we can see that our innovative product can be protected by patents or copyrights or trademarks, or that we think that we can maintain that secrecy there, if we can protect our property, or if that new innovative product will give us a longer lead time to create other items, then yes, we should be a leader. We should be the first with that particular product. However, if it turns out that the complementary resources, those things that we need to finance, produce, market, distribute, and service the property, If those are more important, if those are harder to get to, if it is going to affect our value chain, if it is going to we're going to have to build so much more in order to truly advance with that particular product, maybe we don't need to be the leader. Maybe what we need to be is the fast second follower. So think of what is it that, think of the whole picture, not just what is the individual product, but what are all of the other pieces that are required there to get that product to market. So in this case, what we may decide to do is be a fast second entrant. And so what is that? It's the one that is actively waiting. And so assembling the resources and the capabilities so that you can have a large scale market entry. Because what happens? The first leader, or the leader, the one who comes out first, is going to come out how? It's going to come out with a small niche product, or a niche, or come into a small niche market. And so be able to move to assemble your resources and capabilities so that you can move from that niche market into the mass market. And so how do you do that? You've got your cost structure down lower. So you are learning from the leader. They have produced there in that niche market, but you can look for ways that you can lower those costs, but as well, how might you increase the quality there of that first product? And then think about how you can manage the risk with regard to innovation. And so you can work with beta testers there of the new product, and to get that feedback from those beta testers. What did they not like? Those are the ones that you want. You want to find out what is not making the customer happy, so that you can incorporate those ideas, what is not making the customer happy, into your particular product, therefore increasing the quality, increasing the value of your particular product. And as well, you do want to limit that risk exposure, meaning that you want your debt and your fixed costs to be low. Perhaps you want to join into a strategic alliance with someone else. But again, you want to keep those fixed costs low so that you can be nimble, that you can pivot, that you can be more flexible. You can have your options open for using new technologies by not doing what? By not committing to a big, broad structure of that technology, of that product. You are being that fast second, but still you want to be more flexible there in case there is a reason that you cannot take that feedback, you cannot increase that quality, you cannot lower those costs. When we think of failure of innovation, why do we think of failure? How do we think of failure? Where does failure come from? Failure often comes in the execution stage, not in the generation stage, not in the testing phase, the execution phase. And why does it come? What we find, what the studies show, is because a lot of times those originators of the ideas, those originators of the new product, of the new service, were not involved enough in the entire process all the way to market, which is your end process. So those ones who were the most invested were not included. And so what you think about is, who are the champions? Who are the creators, the originators? Who are the ones that think of the product or the service as their baby? those are the ones that you want on board going all the way through the process. Those are the ones who are going to work late nights and worry about it and obsess about it and think, what can we do to make this better, to make it cheaper, to make it faster? Those are the ones that you want, the ones who believe that those initiatives are their babies. So that is a corporate decision to ensure that those originators of the ideas for those products and services, that those originators are on, not just at the beginning, but follow the process all the way through. Because again, innovation typically fails, or more often fails. That's a better way of saying, not typically, but more often fails at the execution stage. And how do we help prevent that? We do it by keeping those originators involved in the process all the way through.